How many of you have heard about what happened in Russia just yesterday? We want to extend our heartfelt sympathy to all our viewers in Ukraine and Russia. And to everyone watching from America, there is a message for you. What happened in Russia was revealed to a brother, and at the same time, God showed him what is coming next to both Russia and America. This is not one of those experiences you should take lightly or skip. Watch until the end and prepare yourself for what is ahead. Tell us where you are watching this experience from. I will now begin sharing this brother's experience. I do not know how to start this. Weeks ago, I died. I saw things that I cannot explain with normal words. I kept quiet because I was afraid. I did not want people to look at me. I did not want anyone to know my name or my face. But yesterday, when I saw the news about the attack on my country, I understood something terrible. The first thing God showed me is already happening. It is not just an experience anymore. It is real. And if the first part is real, then the rest is coming too. I must speak now. I must tell you what I saw before it is too late. I will keep my identity hidden for now. I am a military officer from Russia. I have served my country for many years. I am not a young man anymore. I was driving to visit my sister in a small town outside the city. The road was wet because it had rained in the morning. Then I saw lights coming toward me. A truck had lost control. I turned the wheel. The car spun. I heard a sound like thunder. Then everything went black. I learned later that my car hit a tree. The doctors told my family that my heart stopped for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That is a long time to be dead. During those 12 minutes, I was somewhere else. I was not in my body anymore. I felt myself rising up. I looked down and I saw my body in the car. I saw blood. I saw the broken glass. But I did not feel pain. I felt very light. Then everything around me changed. I found myself standing in a place that had no walls. I was confused. I did not know where I was. I started walking. I could hear my own breathing. It was the only sound. Then suddenly the air became hot, very hot. I turned around and I saw fire. A massive fire. An explosion so big that I fell down on the ground. The sound was like the world was breaking. I covered my ears, but the sound was inside my head. I saw buildings falling. I saw smoke rising up to the sky. The smoke was black and thick. It covered everything. I was terrified. I did not know what I was looking at. I thought maybe this was hell. I thought maybe I was being punished. I saw people running. I saw cars burning. I saw a whole city in destruction. The devastation was total. There was nothing left standing in some places. I saw bridges that had fallen into rivers. I saw trains that were twisted like toys. I saw hospitals with holes in the walls. I kept asking myself, where is this place? Which city is this? I looked for signs. I looked for anything that would tell me what country this was. But everything was covered in dust and ash. Then I saw the flags. They were on the ground. They were dirty. Some were burning. I walked closer. My heart was beating so fast I thought it would explode. I saw one flag clearly. It was the flag of my country. It was the Russian flag. But it was not clean. It had red stains on it. Dark red stains that looked like blood. I did not understand. I stared at it for a long time. Why was the Russian flag here? Why was it stained with blood? I thought maybe this was showing me that my country had done something wrong. Or maybe it was showing me that my country would suffer. I could not know. I felt so sad looking at that flag on the ground. It was like seeing my own mother fall down. I tried to pick it up, but my hands went through it. I remembered then that I was not in my physical body. I was spirit. I could see, but I could not touch. I stood there watching the destruction for what felt like hours. There was no explanation. There was no voice telling me what this meant. I was alone with this terrible sight. I wanted to cry, but I had no tears in that place. I wanted to scream, but my voice made no sound. I just stood there feeling helpless and afraid. Then the scene changed. It did not fade slowly. It changed fast, like someone had changed the channel on a television. One moment I was looking at the burning city and the fallen flag. The next moment I was standing in a field. It was a different place entirely, and there were two bulls. They were enormous. That is the first word that came into my mind when I saw them, and it is still the right word now. Each one was bigger than any bull I have ever seen in real life. Much bigger. Not just a little bigger the way you might expect if someone told you they saw a large animal. I mean that when I looked at them, something in my chest pulled tight, because my eyes could not fully accept what they were seeing. Animals do not get this big. They should not. But there they were, and they were real, and the ground they were standing on was pressed down under their weight. I need to stop for a moment and explain the field, because the field matters. It was wide in every direction. I could not see an end to it anywhere I looked. To the left, dry pale grass going out until it disappeared. To the right, the same. Behind me, More of the same open space. The sky above was orange, the kind of orange you see at the very end of a sunset, soft and spread across everything, covering the whole sky in one color. There was something quiet about that sky, something almost gentle. And that gentleness did not match anything else I was feeling, because what was below that sky was not gentle at all. The ground was cracked earth and dry grass, and two enormous animals who had all of their attention fixed on each other in a way that made my skin feel tight. I stood very still for a moment. I had just been in a different place entirely, looking at the burning city and the fallen flag, and now I was here in this wide, dry field with an orange sky above me, and two bulls on either side of me. One was on my left, one was on my right. They were far apart from each other, but I could feel the space between them as though it was not empty. It was full of something. Something that had no color and no shape, but had weight. They were facing each other, just standing there, completely still, staring at each other. And the anger between them was something I felt in my body before I understood it in my mind. It pressed against my skin. It made the air heavy the way air gets heavy before a storm, when you can feel what is coming even though nothing has started yet. My heart began to beat faster, not gradually. It jumped, the way your heart jumps when a loud sound catches you off guard. I wanted to move back. I wanted to step away from where I was standing because I was between them, or close enough to between them that it felt dangerous. But my feet would not move. I looked down at them and I tried to tell them to move, and they did not listen. They were planted. The ground under me was dry and hard and cracked in places, and my feet were part of it. I was not going anywhere. I understood then that I was meant to be here, that watching this was not an accident, that I was placed here deliberately to see. The bulls started to move backward. Both of them, at the same slow moment. They did not take their eyes off each other. They walked back step by careful step, each one pressing down into the dry ground, the cracked earth giving up small puffs of pale dust with every hoof that lifted and settled. They were getting distance between themselves. I understood this the way you understand something that your body knows before your thoughts catch up to it. They were not retreating. They were preparing. They needed room. They needed enough space to reach full speed before they came together. And so they were making that space with deliberate backward steps. I could see the dust rising from their hooves as they walked back. Small, quiet clouds lifting from the ground and falling slowly because the air was still. The sky was still that orange color, sunset orange, the kind that is soft and wide and covers everything. And under that soft sky, these two enormous animals were stepping backward through pale dust, and their eyes had not moved from each other, not even once. I could see their breath. That is something I remember very clearly. Their nostrils were sending out breath like smoke, not the gentle, visible breath of a cold morning. This was heavier, thicker, the way breath looks when a body is working hard, when there is heat, building up inside something that is about to release. They were already heating up before the charge had even started. Their bodies were already in that state of total preparation, of commitment to what was coming. I held very still. I do not think I was breathing properly. I was watching them the way you watch something that you know is about to be terrible and beautiful at the same time, something you cannot look away from, even though part of you wants to. The field was silent, except for the soft sound of their hooves and the occasional low sound of their breathing. That orange sky above everything, the cracked pale ground below. Then they stopped moving backward. Both of them stopped at the same moment, and I do not know how I knew that this was the last moment of stillness, but I knew. Everything in that field went tight. The air, the ground, my chest. My hands were shaking. I looked down at them and they were shaking, and I had not told them to do that. My body had decided before I did that this was something to be afraid of. They ran. They ran at each other. And the word I want to use is everything, because that is what they gave. There was nothing held back. There was no caution. From the first step of the charge, there was only full speed and full weight, and the complete intention of impact. I felt the ground shake under my feet before they even reached each other. The vibration came up through the hard, dry earth and into my legs and through my whole body, and then the sound of their hooves was everywhere. A deep, fast drumming that filled the whole field and the whole sky, and I was watching and shaking and could not look away. When they met, the sound was something I cannot describe properly. I have tried many times. The closest I can get is that it was like thunder and earthquake arriving at exactly the same moment in exactly the same place. A sound that was not just sound, but force. It went through my ears and through my chest, and I felt it in my teeth. I felt it in my hands. Their horns came together with a crack that should have ended both of them, that should have dropped them both to the ground, but They did not fall, they absorbed it and they pushed. Their front legs dug into the cracked earth. Their necks were bent and straining. Their shoulders and backs were all muscle working against muscle, all that weight pressing and holding and refusing to give. They separated, came apart hard, stood for 1 second breathing in heavy streams, and then they charged again. Each time they hit each other, I felt it in my feet. Each impact sent the same vibration through the ground and up into my body. Dust came up around them in thick clouds every time their hooves churned the dry earth during a charge. I could see blood on their horns. Not a little blood, dark and wet and real. Their hides were cut in places, long tears in the dark skin where a horn had dragged through. Both of them, both bleeding, both getting hurt badly with every charge. And neither of them was stopping. Neither of them had any intention of stopping. Whatever this was, whatever each of them was defending or fighting for, it was worth every injury they were taking and more. The dust got so thick I lost sight of them. I could hear them. I could feel the ground shaking with each charge. But I could not see clearly anymore. I was coughing. I was rubbing my eyes because the dust was getting into them, and they were watering, and I kept wiping them, and the dust kept coming. I do not know if I truly had lungs in that place, if I truly had eyes that could water, but my experience was completely physical. My body was there. My body was responding. The dust was real to me, and the coughing was real, and the watering eyes were real. I stood in the middle of it and waited. There was nothing else I could do. I was not going to be able to move until it was over, and whatever over meant, I had to wait for it. The dust began to settle slowly. With no wind to carry it, it just fell on its own time, coming down in a slow drift like flour settling in a bowl after you have poured it from a height. Kept wiping my eyes and squinting and trying to see through what was left of it. When it had cleared enough for me to see properly, I looked at the place where the bulls had been fighting, and they were not there. That is the part that took me a moment to accept. I expected to see them. I expected to see at least one of them down, at least one of them bleeding on the ground, because what I had watched was not survivable by any normal understanding. But they were gone. Both of them. Completely gone. The field where they had been was empty, and on the ground, in the place where they had fought, there were 2 flags. I walked toward them slowly. My legs were shaking. Not badly, but enough that I noticed it. Enough that each step was deliberate. The flags were lying flat on the cracked, dry earth. They were covered in dust, the same pale dust that had been thrown up during the fight. They were torn. Not everywhere, but in places. The kind of tearing that happens when something has been through real violence, not the clean cuts of scissors, but the rough, irregular tears of force. And there were stains on them. Dark stains. I knew what they were before I was close enough to have any doubt. I crouched down near them. I was close enough now to see clearly, and I recognized them. One was the flag of Russia. I know that flag. I have known it all my life. The white and the blue and the red, 3 horizontal bands. It was lying on the cracked earth with dust across it, and a long tear near one edge and a dark stain near the center. The other was the flag of America, stars and stripes. I recognized it the moment I saw it. Both flags lying near each other, almost touching, both damaged, both carrying the marks of what had just happened in that field. I reached out toward them, but I did not touch them. I am not sure why I stopped myself. Something made me feel that touching them was not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to look, to understand what I was seeing, to let the meaning of it settle into me. So I kept my hands back and I looked at the 2 flags lying together in the dust, and I tried to understand what they were telling me. 2 of the most powerful nations in the world. Both of their flags on the ground together, both of them torn, both of them marked with blood. The picture was clear in a way that did not require explanation, and yet I still found myself not fully ready to accept what it was saying. Because accepting it meant accepting that what I was being shown was real. That it was not just a vision that would fade and leave me unchanged. That it was meant to mean something. I stayed crouched there for a long time. I do not know exactly how long. Time in that place did not work the way it works here. I was just crouched there looking at those 2 flags. And something was happening in my chest that I struggled to name correctly. It was not just sadness, though sadness was a part of it. It was the kind of feeling that comes when you see something that was supposed to mean something great and important lying broken and used up in the dirt. The flags of 2 of the most powerful nations on earth, lying in the dust of a field with blood on them. And I thought about people, not about governments or leaders or military forces. I thought about people, ordinary people. People who wake up in the morning and drink their coffee and go to work. People who have children they love. People who worry about money and health and whether their parents are okay. People who never asked for any of what those flags might bring. The sadness that came was for them, all of them, millions of them. People who had nothing to do with whatever decision would put those flags in the dirt, but who would feel everything that came after it. I was still crouching there, still in the middle of that feeling, when the light appeared. It appeared from nowhere. There was no gradual brightening, no source I could trace. It was simply not there, and then it was white, but not the white of the sun or of a lamp or of any light I have encountered in my ordinary life. This was a different kind of white. It was soft even though it was strong. It was warm in a way that actual light is not usually warm. Not warm on your skin, but warm inside you, the way a feeling is warm. It had a quality that I have sat with for a long time trying to describe, and I still do not have the exact words. The closest I can come is that it was full. It felt full of something. Like every good thing I had ever known, or wanted, or hoped for was somehow present in that light, gathered there, concentrated. I felt it before I saw it fully. That is important to say. The feeling came first, and the feeling was love. I need to try to explain what I mean, because the word love is used for many things, and what I felt in that moment was not like anything I had felt before under that word. It was bigger than what I have felt for people I love deeply. It was bigger than anything human experience had prepared me for. It was the kind of love that does not ask what you have done before it gives itself. It does not weigh your failures before it decides how much of itself to offer. It was already there, fully present, fully given, before I had said or done or thought anything. And it was reaching into me, into the parts of me that I keep hidden even from myself, the things I have never said out loud, the things I am most ashamed of, the ways I have failed, the times I have been less than I should have been. It was touching all of that, and it was not pulling back. That is the part that was hardest to bear. Being that fully seen and having the seizing not end in rejection. I did not know what to do with that. I still sometimes do not know what to do with it. I saw him. I do not know exactly how to explain what the seeing was like. It was not like seeing a person across a room. It was not like recognizing a face from a photograph. It was an immediate and total knowing, the way you know your own name when someone calls it, the way you know your own mother's face even in complete darkness. The way you know some things, not because you learned them, but because they were always already part of you. I knew it was Jesus. My whole body knew it. Every part of me recognized him without needing to figure it out or be told. His eyes were kind. That is what I noticed first and what I remember most strongly. They were full of kindness, and they were full of sadness too, a deep sadness, but the kindness was larger. The sadness did not defeat the kindness. They were both there at the same time, living in the same eyes, and somehow that combination was more real than either one alone would have been. I have thought about that many times. The fact that there was sadness in his eyes as he looked at me, that he was not simply pleased or simply peaceful, that he was carrying something heavy and was choosing to be present and kind anyway. I fell to my knees. I did not choose to. My knees went to the ground before I had decided anything, the way your hand goes up when something flies toward your face without you telling it to. My body was making decisions ahead of my mind. And when I was on my knees, I felt the shame come up in me like something that had been waiting behind a door, and the door had just opened. Every mistake, every moment of cruelty, every time I had chosen what was easy instead of what was right, every lie, every time I had disappointed someone who trusted me, every time I had hurt someone and not gone back to fix it. All of it came up at once, and it was all present at the same time, and I could not sort through it or manage it. I just felt it, everything at once, with my head down and my hands on the dry ground. And I was forgiven. I do not know how to explain this the way it deserves to be explained. The forgiveness was not something that came after I asked. It was not something that came after I proved I was sorry. It was already there. It was surrounding me the way heat surrounds you when you walk into a warm room from the cold outside. Already present, already complete, already mine, even though I had not done anything to earn it and could not have done anything to earn it. The gap between what I was and what that forgiveness was asking nothing of me except to receive it, that gap was so large that I could not get my mind around it. I just sat inside it with my head down and I shook. I was shaking and I think I was crying, and I do not know how long that lasted. Then he began to show me things. He did not speak the way people speak. There was no voice the way a human voice is, no words forming in the air and reaching my ears. The understanding came directly. It moved from him into me the way warmth moves from a fire into a cold room. I knew things without having been told them in any way I can point to. He revealed to me that what I had just seen, the two bulls, the fight, the flags on the ground, all of it was a picture. a deliberate picture of something real, something coming. He showed me that the two bulls were two nations. He revealed to me specifically which two, America and Russia. He showed me their positions in the world, the weight they carry, the size of their influence. He revealed that in the time that is coming, these two nations would enter into a conflict that would be different from the tensions they have had before. Not a temporary argument between governments. Not something that would be resolved through quiet diplomacy. Something bigger and more serious than that. Something that would come from deep in the national interests of both countries, and that both countries would feel completely justified in pursuing. He showed me the two sides of it, and he showed me that each side would believe it was right. That was part of what would make it so dangerous. When both sides are certain they are right, neither side has a reason to stop. He revealed to me two specific reasons why this conflict would grow as large and as dangerous as it would. The first was about resources. He showed me what countries need to run, to function, to stay powerful: oil, gas, the materials that fuel economies, that keep factories operating, that keep lights on and buildings warm, that make trade possible. He revealed that there would be serious disputes between these two nations over access to and control of these things. He showed me the geography of it, the places in the world where these resources exist and the routes through which they move from where they are to where they are needed. He showed me that both nations would feel that their security, their power, their ability to function as strong countries depended on winning this particular dispute. He revealed that each side would see the other as a threat to something essential, and that when countries see each other that way, the conflict becomes very difficult to de-escalate. He showed me other nations being pulled into this because of the resources. Countries that needed what those routes and those reserves provided. Countries that could not stay neutral because their economies depended on taking a position. He revealed that the resource dispute would not stay between two countries. It would spread into the decisions of many countries, and the spreading would make everything harder to stop. He showed me something specific about resources that I want to try to explain carefully. He revealed that the fighting over resources was not just about the physical materials themselves, the oil in the ground, the gas in the pipes. It was about what controlling those things means for a nation's power. He showed me that when a nation controls something that other nations need, that control is a kind of leverage. It changes the balance of who has to listen to whom. He revealed that both of these nations understood this, and that the dispute was therefore not something that could be easily negotiated down to a small thing. It was connected to the question of which nation would have more power in the world, and neither nation was willing to be the one with less. The second reason was about alliances. He revealed that other nations would take sides. Some would align with America, some would align with Russia, and this choosing of sides would change the nature of the conflict entirely. He showed me how alliances work, how when nations commit themselves to supporting a side, they invest their own prestige and their own security in the outcome. He revealed that this investment makes it harder for conflicts to end, because ending a conflict at a loss means every allied nation also loses something. He showed me treaties being tested, nations asking whether old promises still apply in new situations, whether the agreements they made years or decades ago were meant for something like this. He revealed that trust between nations would begin to break down, not just between America and Russia, but between many nations, as the pressures of the conflict forced everyone to show what they actually valued and who they actually stood with. He showed me that the breaking of trust between nations is a slow and serious damage. He revealed that once that kind of trust breaks, rebuilding it takes much longer than breaking it did. And in the time between the breaking and the rebuilding, the world becomes more dangerous in many ways that have nothing directly to do with the original conflict. He revealed one more thing about the alliances that I want to include here because I think it matters. He showed me smaller nations, nations that had nothing to do with starting this conflict, being forced into positions they had not chosen. He showed me leaders of smaller countries sitting in rooms trying to figure out how to survive the pressure coming from both sides, trying to protect their people from consequences of a fight that was not theirs. He revealed that some of these nations would be damaged badly by the conflict even though they were not participants in it, and that their people would suffer consequences for decisions made by leaders far away. He showed me the unfairness of that clearly, and without softening it. Then he showed me what all of this would produce in the lives of ordinary people. He did not hurry past this. He showed it to me slowly and in detail. He revealed each part of it as the real experience of real human beings, not as numbers or categories. He showed me the economy first. He revealed what would happen to jobs. He showed me jobs disappearing in very large numbers and in a short amount of time. Not one position here and one position there. He showed me entire industries contracting, entire sectors of the economy slowing and stopping. He revealed that businesses would close. Small businesses first, the ones with no savings to hold them through a bad period, and then larger ones too as the bad period went on longer than anyone expected. He showed me people who had worked the same job for years, who had built their life around the assumption that the job would continue, suddenly without income and without a clear path back to one. He revealed that banks would have problems. He showed me people going to access their money and finding that the access was not as straightforward as it had always been. He revealed that financial institutions would be under strain, that the systems through which money moves in a modern economy would begin to experience the stress of the conflict in ways that ordinary people would feel at the level of their own accounts. He showed me financial markets in many countries falling, the numbers going down on screens around the world. And he showed me what the falling of those numbers meant for the actual lives of people who had savings, who had retirement accounts, who had been building something slowly over many years that was now losing its value. He showed me stores with empty shelves. He revealed that trade between nations would be disrupted, and that the disruption of trade is not an abstract economic problem, but a physical reality that shows up as missing things in the places where people shop. He showed me the supply chains, the routes and systems through which goods travel from where they are made to where they are needed, and he revealed that these systems would break down in significant ways. Ports where ships could not unload, trucks that could not complete their routes, warehouses full of things that could not be delivered because the next step in the chain was broken. He revealed that when trade stops flowing the way it is supposed to, prices go up because the supply of things goes down while the need for those things remains. He showed me the price of food going higher, the price of medicine going higher. He showed me people standing in stores doing the difficult, quiet math of deciding what they could afford and what they would have to leave on the shelf. He revealed that this arithmetic, this daily choosing between needs, is a particular kind of suffering that people who have not experienced scarcity do not always understand from the outside. From the outside, it can look like a practical problem. From the inside, it feels like the ground moving. He showed me that the poor would feel all of this more severely than the wealthy, that the people who had the least cushion would be the first to fall through, and he showed me the gap between those who would be uncomfortable and those who would be in genuine crisis. That gap was large and it was painful to see. He showed me long lines, people standing and waiting for things that they used to be able to get easily. Food lines, lines for water in some places, lines for medicine. He showed me the faces of the people in those lines, and what I saw there was not just hunger or physical need. There was a particular kind of disbelief on those faces. The look of someone who always trusted that the world worked a certain way and is standing in a line that proves it does not work that way anymore. That kind of disbelief changes people. It does not go away when the line ends. Then he revealed the political situation to me. He showed me government leaders under the kind of pressure that changes how decisions are made. He showed me people in rooms, people with power, trying to figure out what to do in a situation that was moving faster than their ability to understand it. And he revealed that fear was present in those rooms. Fear does not improve decision-making. He showed me this clearly. Fear makes people act fast when they should act slowly. Fear makes people hold on to positions when they should let go. Fear makes people say things in public to their own people that make it harder to find solutions because too many promises have been made that cannot be kept without losing face. He revealed that decisions made in that kind of fear and under that kind of pressure would sometimes be the wrong decisions. Not because the people making them were stupid or evil, but because they were human beings making hard choices in conditions that were not designed for calm and careful thinking. And he showed me that the wrong decisions of people who hold real power do not stay small. They spread, they travel. They produce effects in the lives of people who never heard the decision being made and never had any say in it. He showed me policies changing rapidly. He revealed that in this period, the rules of how things work, the frameworks that businesses and families and institutions rely on to make plans, would keep changing. He showed me businesses that could not plan because the ground kept shifting under them. He showed me families that could not make decisions about their future because the future was too uncertain to see clearly. He revealed that this uncertainty, the constant not knowing what comes next, is its own kind of suffering. It does not show up as one acute moment of pain. It is a continuous low pressure that wears people down over time, that erodes their ability to feel safe even when nothing terrible is happening to them directly at this exact moment. He revealed that trust in government and leadership would go down. He showed me people who had always had a basic confidence in their institutions, who had never thought too hard about whether the people in charge knew what they were doing, beginning to lose that confidence. He showed me people who had never been political starting to pay attention, because what was happening was affecting their daily lives too directly to ignore. He showed me protests forming, people in streets, not because they wanted to be there, but because they felt they had no other way to say that something was wrong. He revealed something important about what happens when people lose trust in their governments. He showed me that the loss of that trust does not leave a neutral space. It does not result in people simply going their own way quietly. He showed me that when trust in legitimate authority breaks down, other kinds of authority try to fill the space. Things that are louder, things that offer simple explanations for complicated problems, things that point to a specific enemy and say that all the difficulty will end when that enemy is removed. He revealed that these things find a ready audience when people are afraid and struggling, and no longer believe that the people who are supposed to be managing things actually know what they are doing. He showed me this dynamic playing out in multiple places, and he showed me that it made the original problems much harder to solve because it introduced new forces into already complicated situations. He showed me arguments among the leaders themselves, the people who were supposed to be working together to manage these situations turning on each other under the pressure, because the pressure was revealing where their real disagreements were, the ones that had been papered over in easier times. He revealed that some governments would not survive this period. He showed me specific places where the combination of economic damage and political instability and loss of public trust would be enough to bring down structures that had seemed solid. He showed me what happens after a government falls, the period of uncertainty, the power vacuum, the danger that comes when old authority has collapsed and new authority has not yet established itself. He revealed that this danger was real and that it would affect ordinary people who simply wanted to live their lives and had no interest in the power struggles above them. Then he showed me the social world. What would happen to people at the level of their communities, their neighborhoods, their relationships with each other. He revealed that communities would begin to break apart, not all at once and not dramatically in most places, but steadily, the way a cloth frays when it is under constant tension. He showed me the small things first. People becoming less open, less willing to talk to neighbors, less willing to help someone they do not know well. He revealed that when resources are scarce and fear is present, human beings naturally tighten their circles. They pull their energy and their care closer in, toward the people they are most sure they can trust, toward their own family, their own tight group. He showed me that this pulling inward is understandable. He did not show it to me as a moral failure. He revealed it as a real human response to real conditions. But he also showed me what it costs. He showed me what a community is and what it provides, all the invisible support that flows between people who know each other and have decided to look out for each other. He showed me that invisible support stopping. People who used to help each other no longer helping, not because they had become cruel, but because they were afraid, and there was not enough, and they could not afford to extend themselves the way they used to. He revealed that neighbors would stop trusting neighbors. He showed me this in specific images. Doors that had been open now staying closed. People who used to greet each other, watching each other with quiet suspicion instead. He showed me the slow chilling of what had been warmth. The way a fire goes out not all at once but by losing heat gradually, each moment a little colder than the last. He revealed that this loss of trust between ordinary people is very hard to recover. It settles in and becomes normal. The new normal is people keeping more to themselves, and after a while they do not even remember that it used to be different. He showed me families being pulled apart. He revealed that some people would be forced to leave their homes and the places they knew because staying had become impossible, because there was not enough or because it was not safe. And in leaving, they would leave behind the people they loved. He showed me what separation does to families when it is not chosen but forced. The particular helplessness of it, the not knowing when or whether. He revealed that these separations would mark the people who experienced them in ways that did not simply heal when the outer situation improved. He showed me the lasting damage, the anxiety that stays in the body, the grief that has no clear ending. He revealed that the ordinary things people take for granted would become difficult or impossible. He showed me people afraid to go to the market, afraid to visit a friend who lived a certain distance away. He revealed that when public order breaks down and when fear becomes constant, the radius of people's lives shrinks. They stop doing the things they used to do without thinking. They stop moving as freely. They stop the small social transactions that used to make life feel like life. He showed me communities where daily existence had become something to manage and survive, rather than something to live. He showed me that fear would become the constant background condition, not a spike of fear that comes and goes, but a settled underlying fear that was always present. He revealed that living inside that kind of fear, day after day, changes people slowly. They become harder, they trust less, they extend less, they hope less. He showed me this change happening across communities, not in one dramatic moment, but through the accumulation of many difficult days. He revealed something about children, specifically in the context of what fear does to a community. He showed me children absorbing the fear of the adults around them, learning that the world is an unsafe and unpredictable place, carrying that learning into how they develop. He revealed that children who grow up inside extended fear are different from children who grow up inside security, not in any way that is their fault, but in ways that stay with them. He showed me this generation of children being shaped by what surrounded them, and he showed me that shape with gentleness, but without looking away from what it truly was. He showed me something else about communities that I found difficult to receive. He revealed that when communities are under this kind of pressure for a long time, the people in them start to look for someone to blame. He showed me how blame spreads, how it finds a target, how it can attach itself to a group or a type of person, and how that attachment becomes very hard to correct once it has settled in. He revealed that this blaming was not unique to any one place or any one type of people. He showed me that it was a common human response to sustained hardship and fear, and that it would happen in many places, and that it would deepen the damage to communities beyond what the original hardship had done on its own. Then he revealed the healthcare system. He showed me hospitals trying to function under conditions they were not designed for. Not just busier than usual. Overwhelmed in a different way, a structural way, where the resources available did not match what was being asked of the system at any level. He showed me beds full, hallways with patients in them because there was nowhere else to put them. He revealed that medical supplies would run short. He showed me the specific moment when someone opens a supply cabinet looking for what they need and it is not there. He showed me this moment happening repeatedly, in many places, each time carrying its own small weight of failure. He revealed that medicines would become hard to find. He showed me the supply chains for medicine breaking down, the same way the supply chains for other goods broke down. And he showed me what the consequences were for people whose bodies depended on consistent access to specific medicines. He showed me diabetics. He showed me people with heart conditions. He showed me people managing other serious illnesses that require medication that must not be interrupted. He revealed what interruption meant for these people, the specific and terrible way that health deteriorates when the medicine stops. And he showed me the families watching that deterioration and not being able to stop it. He showed me doctors and nurses working past the point of sustainable endurance. He revealed the particular damage that sustained exhaustion does to people who are trying to make careful decisions about other people's lives. He showed me people who had dedicated themselves to healing, trying to continue that work inside a system that had stopped being able to support them, where there was not enough of anything. Not enough staff, not enough supplies, not enough rest, not enough emotional support for people who were carrying enormous weight every single day. He revealed that the quality of care declines not because the people giving care stop caring, but because the conditions for caring have been destroyed. He showed me emergency services unable to reach everyone who needed them. He revealed that when systems are overwhelmed, triage happens, and triage means some people do not get help in time. He showed me the outcomes of that. He did not look away, and he did not let me look away. He showed me what it means when help does not arrive when it should, in specific human terms, and the weight of it stayed with me. He revealed that mental health would decline alongside physical health. He showed me anxiety spreading through communities, the way a virus spreads, from person to person, through contact, through shared experience, through the air of a place that has become frightened. He showed me depression settling into people who had lost too much, who had been afraid too long, who had no support system left to hold them. He revealed that mental health systems, already strained in ordinary times, would be completely unable to meet the level of need that this period would produce. He showed me people suffering in ways that did not show on the outside, that did not look like a physical emergency, but were just as real, and finding no one available to help them with it. He revealed something about grief that I found very hard to see. He showed me that in this period there would be many losses, and that the normal ways that communities process loss and grieve together would be disrupted. He showed me funerals that could not happen in the way they should, people who died without proper ceremony, families who could not come together to mourn because the circumstances made it impossible. He revealed that grief that has no proper outlet, that has no ceremony and no community to hold it, does not resolve on its own. It stays in people. He showed me whole communities carrying unprocessed grief, walking around with losses that had never been properly acknowledged, and he revealed the weight of that and what it does to people over time. He showed me that this invisible weight would be one of the slower and harder parts of what was coming. Finally, he revealed the education system. He showed me schools closing, not just for a short period, but for extended periods, in some places permanently, in other places in ways that were so disrupted and inconsistent that the education being offered could barely be called education anymore. He showed me children at home, not learning what they were supposed to learn, not building the skills and the knowledge that those years were meant to provide. He revealed something about children specifically that I felt very deeply. He showed me that what children learn during the years when they are developing is not just information. It is the structure of how they understand the world. It is the habits of mind, the ability to think clearly and ask questions and build on what they know. He revealed that when those years are taken away or seriously disrupted, something is missing in the person that results, something that does not simply appear later when conditions improve. He showed me a generation of young people growing into adulthood with a gap in them, a place where development should have happened and did not. And he revealed that this generation would be the ones called on to rebuild what the conflict had destroyed, and they would be trying to do that work while carrying that gap inside them. He showed me universities operating badly or not at all, faculty leaving, students unable to afford to continue or unable to get there, or living in places where the institution had closed entirely. He revealed that the disruption of higher education had effects that went beyond the students directly affected. He showed me the specializations that would not be filled, the professions that would have gaps in them, the knowledge that required sustained years of training to transmit, and would not be transmitted to the next cohort. He revealed that this was a long-term damage, one that would be felt for years after the immediate crisis had ended. He showed me something about teachers specifically that stayed with me. He revealed that in this period, many of the people whose job it was to teach would leave the profession. Not because they wanted to, but because the conditions made it impossible to stay. He showed me teachers working in situations where they had no materials, no security, sometimes no consistent location, trying to do something that requires stability with none of the conditions for stability present. He revealed that many of them would make the painful decision to stop because they could not support their families on what little was available. And he showed me that when experienced teachers leave, they do not simply come back when conditions improve. Some of them find other work and build different lives. The knowledge they carried about how to teach, the skills they had developed over years of practice, walks out with them and does not automatically return. He revealed that the damage to education would be one of the slowest things to repair after this period. He showed me that rebuilding a generation's education is not like rebuilding a road or a building. You cannot simply put the materials in place and have it finished in a measurable time. It takes years of sustained effort and specific resources and the right people in the right places, and all of those things would be in short supply at the very moment they were most needed. He showed me learning institutions being used for other purposes, buildings that had been schools used as shelters or storage, or something else entirely. He revealed that this repurposing felt temporary, but was often not temporary, that returning to the original purpose took longer than anyone expected and required resources that were slow to come. He showed me children who had stopped thinking of themselves as students, who had stopped expecting to learn in a formal setting, who had adjusted to a reality in which school was something from before. He revealed that ignorance, when it is allowed to grow because the systems that fight it are broken, does not stay still. It spreads and it deepens. He showed me communities making worse decisions because they had less access to good information, less ability to evaluate what they were being told, less framework for understanding complex situations. He revealed this made the conflict harder to resolve because the populations experiencing it had less capacity to demand good decisions from their leaders, less ability to hold power accountable, and more vulnerability to being misled. He showed me that ignorance and conflict feed each other, that each one makes the other worse. He showed me all of this, all 5 of these things together. And when he showed them to me not as distant events on a map or numbers in a report. He showed them to me as the lives of real people, specific people. He showed me a mother trying to calculate whether she could feed her children for the rest of the week on what she had. He showed me a man who had built a small business over 20 years, standing at the locked door of it for the last time. He showed me a nurse sitting on a floor of a hospital corridor with her back against the wall and her eyes closed because she had been working for so many hours she could not remember how many. He showed me a child sitting in a place that was not a school, doing nothing because there was nothing organized to do, staring at the floor with a patience that children should not have to have. He showed me an old man sitting alone in an apartment that was getting colder because the heating system was not functioning the way it should, with medicine on the table that was almost finished, and no clarity about when or whether there would be more. He wanted me to see them as real. He wanted me to understand that this was not about nations or governments or economic systems as abstractions. It was about people. Every number in every statistic would be a person with a name and a family, and a specific life that had been built slowly and carefully over years. He showed me the people before the statistics so that I would not forget what the statistics were actually describing. I stayed in that field, crouched near those 2 damaged flags, and received everything he showed me. And I want to be honest about this part. I felt the weight of it. It was genuinely heavy. It is still heavy when I think about it. I do not want to tell you it was not hard to receive because it was. There were moments during the showing when I wanted to look away and could not. There were moments when what he was revealing felt like more than I had the capacity to hold. But he stayed with me through all of it. His presence did not change when the things being shown were difficult. The kindness in his eyes did not become less when the pictures he was showing me became harder. That steadiness was its own kind of mercy. He was not looking away from the difficult things, and because he was not looking away, I could bear to look at them too. But I also want to tell you that even in receiving it, even with all of that weight present, I was not left without hope. He revealed to me that the reason I was being shown these things was not to fill me with despair. That was not the purpose. He showed me that the purpose was something else. He revealed that the showing was so that people would turn, that people who heard this would take it seriously enough to examine their own hearts and the direction of their own lives. He revealed that even in the worst of what is coming, the fundamental offer that has always been available remains available, that it does not depend on political stability or economic health or social order, that it exists independent of all of those things. He revealed that the way through has always been the same, that it begins with turning toward the one who made all things with the whole heart, seriously and completely, and not just in the surface motions of religion. He showed me that this is possible for anyone in any situation, that no situation is too broken for this to remain possible. And he revealed that this is what I was supposed to carry back, not the fear of what is coming, but the knowledge that even what is coming does not close off what has always been offered. I am not a preacher. I am not someone who is comfortable standing up and speaking to people about these things. Writing this has taken me a long time, and I have stopped many times. I have started sentences and erased them because they sounded too big or too certain or too much like someone performing rather than someone telling the truth. I have spent time wondering whether I was the right person to tell this, whether someone with more authority or more eloquence should be the one carrying it. But I keep coming back to the fact that he did not choose me because I was the right person. He showed it to me and he told me to tell it. That is all I know, and so I am telling it. If you have read this and it has meant something to you, I am glad. If you have read it and found yourself thinking about your own life, about what you are giving your time and your heart to, about whether the things you are pursuing are the things that will matter when the weight comes down, then something in the telling has done what it was supposed to do. I do not ask you to believe me. I only ask you to consider what I have said and to ask honestly whether it is something you want to carry forward or set down. That choice belongs to you. Nothing more and nothing less than what I saw. All of this he revealed to me in that bright light. It was not just pictures. I felt the pain of the people. I felt the fear. I felt the loss. It was overwhelming. I was crying. I was begging him to stop showing me. But he continued because he wanted me to understand the weight of what could happen. He wanted me to know that this was serious. This was not a game. Then he told me something important. He revealed to me that this future was not fixed. He showed me that there was still time to change things. He revealed that prayer could make a difference. He told me that if believers would stand up and pray, some of this could be stopped. Some of it could be made less severe. He revealed that God does not want destruction. He wants peace. But he also respects human free will. He revealed that leaders make choices, and those choices have consequences. But prayer can touch hearts. Prayer can change minds. Prayer can soften the hard positions that leaders take. After he told me these things, I felt myself being pulled back. The light started to fade. I did not want to leave. I wanted to stay in that place of peace, but I was being pulled backward fast. Then I felt pain, real physical pain. I gasped. I opened my eyes. I was in a hospital room. I saw a white ceiling. I heard beeping sounds from machines. I felt tubes in my nose and arms. A nurse was standing over me. She looked shocked. She called for the doctor. They could not believe I was awake. They said I had been gone too long. They said it was a miracle. I stayed in the hospital for 1 week. They ran tests. They checked my heart. They checked my brain. Everything was working normally. The doctors were confused. They said they could not explain why I was alive and healthy. I did not tell them what I saw. I did not tell anyone. I was afraid they would think I was crazy. I was afraid they would take away my position. I was afraid my family would worry. So I kept it inside. For 2 weeks I have been living with this knowledge. I have been watching the news carefully. I have been waiting to see if anything would happen that matched what I saw. Then yesterday the attack came. The massive strike on my homeland. When I saw the news, my blood ran cold. I recognized it immediately. This was the explosion I saw. This was the devastation. This was the Russian flag on the ground with bloodstains. It was happening just like I saw it. I sat in my chair and I shook for 1 hour. I could not move. I knew then that I could not stay silent anymore. If the first vision was true, then the rest is coming. The bulls fighting. The two nations clashing, the economic collapse, the political chaos, the social breakdown, the healthcare crisis, the education stop. All of it is coming if people do not pray. So I am writing this now. I am sharing my testimony with whoever will read it. I do not care anymore if people know who I am. I do not care if they believe me or not. I only care that someone, somewhere, will read this and will start to pray. I care that believers will wake up and understand that we are standing at the edge of something very dangerous. I am calling on all believers now. Stand up and pray. Pray for the leaders of America. Pray for the leaders of Russia. Pray that wisdom will enter their hearts. Pray that they will choose dialogue instead of war. Pray that the reasons for conflict, those resources and alliances I was shown, will be managed with peace instead of force. Pray that the aftermath I saw will never happen. Pray for the economic systems to be protected. Pray for the political stability to hold. Pray for the social structures to remain strong. Pray for the healthcare systems to continue serving people. Pray for the education of children to continue. I am just one man. I am not special. I was given this vision because God is merciful. He does not want destruction. He wants to warn us first. He wants to give us a chance to change things. That is why he allowed me to die and come back. That is why he showed me these things. Not to scare me, but to mobilize prayer. Please do not ignore this warning. Please do not think this is just a story. I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I know that the attack yesterday proves that the vision is real. The first seal has been opened. The first scene has played out. We can still stop the rest if we pray. I am praying every hour now. I am on my knees. I am begging God to have mercy on our nations. I am asking him to send angels of peace to the leaders. I am asking him to confuse the plans of those who want war. I am asking him to strengthen the hands of those who want peace. Please join me. Do not wait. Do not say you will pray tomorrow. Pray today. Pray now. The bulls are backing up. They are preparing to charge. The dust has not risen yet, but it will if we do not stop it with prayer. I have done my part by sharing this. I have obeyed the command to speak. Now it is your part to pray. God bless you. God keep you. God save our nations from the destruction that is coming. Amen.